Off to the main card we go now in the lightweight division as we have King Green coming in at plus 145. He goes up against Terrence McKinney, who comes in at minus 170. Now, King Green finds himself on a 3-fight winning streak, and this guy's been absolutely killing it as of late, going 2-0 in 2026, finishing both of his opponents as well. I like to call him Bonus Money Bobby. I know he dropped the Bobby from Bobby King Green, but it's too easy of a nickname to bank on now with Bonus Money Bobby, considering ever since the UFC implemented finish bonuses, this guy's gone out there and gotten finishes. You know, you get $25K for a finish, but you have potential to win $100K if you get a performance of the night or a fight of the night. And I think we're starting to see a little bit more of an aggressive version of King Green because of that. This guy is a veteran, right? You're talking about a guy with, 53 fights of experience. 53 fights of experience there. But, hasn't really been known as a guy that often goes out there and gets finishes, right? There was a certain point in time where everybody would be like, all right, just always bet the over in a King Green fight because more than likely it's going to go to the decision. But he's been showcasing in recent fights that he's going out there and trying to get the finish, right? He showcased good power against Huber and eventually got that finish in the second round. Then there was the Jeremy Stevens fight last time around where, he was throwing some heat in his shots. He went for a takedown, landed nasty ground and pound as soon as he got the takedown, and then eventually opened up that submission opportunity. So it's clear that he's trying to go out there and get these finishes over a lot of guys. We know him at his best. He has a very solid striking game, good head movement, loves to try to, put volume on his opponents. But now with him throwing with a little bit more heat, it's obvious that he's trying to be a little bit more dangerous. Now, you can't overlook the fact that he's 39 years old. So obviously it's going to start to slow down for him. We've seen some of his durability issues come through and some of his recent losses. So that's always something to keep an eye on. But he's always going to go out there and be a tough out for most opponents, especially if there are guys looking to break into the rankings and try to make a name for themselves. Now this weekend, he's going up against T-Rex Terrence McKinney, who is coming off of a 22 second, I believe it was 20 something second knockout, 24 second knockout of Kyle Nelson earlier this year in his home state of Washington in Seattle. And he went out there and showcased why this guy is the guy to always bet on his unders. That's one thing I love about Terrence McKinney. Whenever I see him on a card, I'm like, oh, no matter what the number is on the under 1.5, you have to bet it no matter what. Just listen to some of these statistics. He's 8-5 in the UFC right now, but 22 of his 26 fights have finished in round 1. 25 of those 26 fights have finished under 1.5 rounds. All 13 of his UFC fights have finished under 1.5, with only 2 of those fights reaching the second round and still finishing under 1.5 rounds. It's clear what he does. He doesn't change his game whatsoever. He goes out there, tries to find that big head kick of his, which he's been able to rock and hurt many people with, or land some big punches down the middle. If that doesn't knock his opponent out, he'll go for the takedown, and he does not settle for positions at all. This guy just works to dominate and smash through his opponent's guard, get to a dominant position, and either rain down big shots from full mount or look for that rear naked choke and squeeze the life out of his opponents. That's every single fight. If he can't get to his offense and that first line of offense fails him, he ends up looking for the door and he ends up getting finished, just as we saw with Chris Duncan, just as we saw with Esteban Ribovics, even in the fight against Nazim Sadikov, where he dominated the first round with his grappling, but then his gas tank failed him tremendously, and we saw him get finished pretty quickly in the second round. That's why I like Terrence McKinney. That's why I love betting his unders, no matter how chalky it is. So that's where I'm going to be kind of eyeing for this matchup as he goes up against Bobby King Green. So you got like the volatility of Terrence McKinney going up against the veteran savvy of Bobby Green, but I really think it's going to be the physical advantages of McKinney that allow him to get the early finish here. Again, it's tough for me to always bet a money line on McKinney, especially when he's the favorite, considering how volatile he is and how front-loaded his success often is. But I feel like this is one of those matchups where his power is going to end up coming through. He finds that chin of Bobby Green. I think he puts him away pretty quickly, but in turn, the under 1.5 is always the spot in his fights. I don't care how chalky it is. Just as we saw the other week with Abdul Rahman Yakyaev, sometimes heavy chalk is worth playing straight because it's that easy. 8 seconds was minus 400 worthy, in my opinion. For Terrence McKinney, 13 UFC fights, all finishing under 1.5 rounds. I don't care who he's facing. We're always taking that under 1.5. But in terms of an official prediction, I am going to go with McKinney and McKinney by round 1 knockout.